My name is Faiyaz Ali Khan. I'm a fitness trainer. I'm a personal trainer. I'm from Hyderabad, India. And thank you very much for inviting me on this podcast because it's the need of the hour. We need, as trainers community, I would like to spread a small message. So I feel it's the need of the hour. Thank you very much. Very well appreciated.
Not at all. I think that I've been fascinated by your approach to training when it comes to incorporating many disciplines into a program that is not just uh, not just injury free, but also very uh, dominant in terms of output and explosiveness and longevity. So I'd like to say that we could start with your approach to training and your understanding of your understanding of combining explosiveness and athleticism with longevity. Would you like to
Yeah,
elaborate on
sure.
that?
Thank you very much for asking me this. This has been a part of my, uh, say, from past over 2 decades. I've been in this profession. So this profession, from passion, it has become my profession. So I call it passion is my profession. So here I go. So when I see a student who comes for me for training, so I basically take a assessment. Uh, what is his short-term goals are? What is the purpose he's going to hire me to train him? And if it's up to if I can handle that kind of individual, I will certainly take it up. Because I've been specialized in training athletes from different levels of sports. I've been trained a lot of tennis players. I've done training to a lot of. I've given training to a lot of cricketers. As you know, cricket is India's most favorite sport. So I've trained a lot of cricketers, including big names, which I don't want to say, but I've trained a lot of cricketers. And back in time, I used to be a working partner in a gym called Est, which was very famous those days in about 2002 to 8. So I've been training general population as well. So I would always make sure that, and I still make sure if someone new comes to me, if a new student comes to me, I'll make sure that uh, I need to hear him. I just shut all my thinking. When somebody asks for training, okay, I say, if I have a slot open, I'll say, fine. If I have, uh, you know, the required time he's asking for, if I can oblige with that, I would say just sit down and the first session goes like this. So I take a complete assessment with big ears. I'm saying big ears. So I have to listen, listen, observe what he wants, what his goals are, why he's coming to me to train, and in which way I can help him, and how long it will take me to take us to his or her goals. So I take that all in my mind, and I keep a log for that. Is it Does it sound good to you?
Uh,
Does Does it sound good to you?
I would be interested in further knowing your approach to training when it comes to combining endurance with weight training, and then because I've been very
Mm-hmm.
fascinated by that concept.
If you read about strength training, it's an amazing subject. Again, it's a combination of art and science. It is a beautiful combination of the range of motion, the rhythm, the noise of weights in the gym. If you just know a little bit about strength training, it is called the fountain of youth. So it increases longevity, and it stops a person from aging. So it can act as an anti-aging element. So it is one of the aspect of fitness, that is strength training, and it can be said that it's very useful for women also, for men too. And for me, age is just a number. Well, it depends on ectomorph. He's a mesomorph or he's endomorph. Ectomorph is a very skinny guy. Uh, Mesomorph is balanced guy. He's not too skinny, not too bulky. But an endomorph is a guy who is bulky, who's who can be very large or who can be medium in size but looks very stout. So it depends on that, and it also I take it in a way that I put my own thing when someone comes to me that okay, how are his genetics? I ask about his. I take his heart rate. I talk about his family history, about his the background, his eating habits, the eating habits. So which is very very crucial in training someone. You can train him in the gym, but he can go out and he or she can mess up the whole thing. So
Right. Just to interrupt you there,
yeah,
I apologize, but
yeah, no, no, it's fine.
your approach to diet has always been very fascinating as well. Because
Yeah,
if you
I
observe,
never, I never,
yeah,
never give a diet to anyone. You can ask any number of people I've trained so far. I never give a diet. I always believe and have tried on myself and have implemented on many of my students, including various athletes, including various known people in Hyderabad. I got them in their best shape. You call it washboard stomach, or say six pack abs, or eight pack abs, or whatever, through one magic thing. And the magic thing is nothing but portion control. Magic thing is nothing but making that person uh, aware of what sugar can do to you, how sugar can be really bad to you. And also, I'm not anti anything. I'm not anti anything. I'd say moderation. When I say moderation, I mean portion control of everything. Suppose you're going to have a chocolate. Okay, have a chocolate. Maybe you can go for a dark chocolate. Sounds good, right? So if somebody has, there are a lot many people came to me. I said, no, sir, we can't give away sweets. I say, okay, don't give away. I'm not asking you to give up anything. It can be anything. So if you guys know what I mean, anything. Anything is good in moderation again. So if you cut the portions, you're there. You will be able to reach your goals. So that's what I tell them. But if you're training an athlete who's preparing for some contest, some upcoming event, or his competition, then the entire uh, thing will be totally changed according to the needs. If he's a endurance athlete, whether he's a athlete who runs short distances, a cyclist who does uh, just short races, or a cyclist who does long distances. So it depends on what kind of a sport he's coming. Suppose if I'm uh, training a tennis player, so I should keep up. Uh, I should make sure that the training pattern should be more on the reflexes, more on the agility, more on uh, the power. It should be equally balanced. Every element of fitness should be equally balanced for an athlete. So, as I was giving an example of a tennis player. So, if I'm training a tennis player, I should make sure that he or she should always have all the elements of fitness, including the cardiovascular endurance, including the strength, the flexibility, and most of all, the eye and hand coordination. So it is all about combining it together, making it as a good package, and then the athlete can use it in her or his capacity to perform really well in their sport.
Which brings me to your idea or your philosophy of combining different elements of fitness to cater to the different disciplines of gymnastics, of martial arts, uh, of tennis, as you mentioned.
Yes.
And what would you like to say about how the combination of endurance training and strength training makes it into these disciplines? How does it fit into these disciplines of martial arts, say, and tennis and so forth?
If you want to make fitness as your lifestyle, not a fad, if you want to make this as fitness for life, fitness forever, and if you want to stop aging, if you want to look good, and if you look good, I'm sure you know that if you look good, you will definitely have a great mood, you will have a lot of endorphins in you, you will sleep better, you look uh, attractive, you look fine. So I would suggest that it's totally up to how you perceive it and how you take it. And then if I'm training someone like that, I should make sure that I should take one step at a time, and I make sure every step is stronger than the other step I have taken. So one step at a time, but equally stronger at the same time. So if I train a athlete, I'll make sure that his previous best, suppose every day one cannot train at the same intensity and the same high level, endurance activities, same kind of enthusiasm every day. Every person is different. We are made different. Everyone is made different. So my approach would be, okay, maybe out of, if someone is training 6 days, mostly people train 5 days, but if someone is training 6 days, I make sure out of 6 days at least 2 days should be high intensity. It can be cardiovascular or strength. High intensity. When I say high, that is for high level athletes. When I say moderate, maybe the intensity can vary up to, say, about 60% of their, say, about less than 60%, say about 50% of their maximum energy output. Yeah.
That brings me to the time when. Do you remember the time when this gentleman came into the gym and he had a back problem that he wasn't very specific about, and then you just gave a glance, and then in just that glance you were able to tell the specific problem that he had.
Oh,
and
that's so sweet of you. Yeah.
That is another aspect of your perception of fitness, because it's not just about making an athlete or somebody who's not much into fitness take a different measure, take a different approach to their goals, but it is also about injury prevention.
Absolutely. So absolutely,
that
that should be the priority of any fitness trainer, any personal trainer, any good group fitness trainer. The safety should be the priority.
Yeah.
But as you so rightly said just now, that once you saw me gauging a person or taking him off guard, that he's having a back issue, because I saw his movement pattern,
his posture and so forth. And then you mentioned
his posture, the way he was sitting, the way he was comfortable doing something, and the way he was not very comfortable doing something. So there I got him. There I said, oh, these muscles are not very strong. There are a few simple tests for it. You can just make out if you can make them do. Now, if you can type plank or go to Google, YouTube, type plank, you will get a number of type of planks. So in one plank, or say a warm-up session, so you start training a person, and the first day, the first day itself, when you we are warming up for the real exercise, warm up is essential. It is the essential part of the workout. It can be of anyone. So when you're warming up, we I make sure, and I make sure that the people who worked with me as fellow trainers, or who have been with me for many years in the same community, the trainers community, I make sure always that I learn from them, and they learn from me. If I have something to share, why not? So in so I was coming to the point, if a person is warming up with you, you make sure you go very slow and slowly start raising the bar. You see his flexibility, you see his agility, you see how dynamic he can do certain things, how where are the restrictions where he's not comfortable. So you start the rating in your mind, that is called the rating of perceived exertion. In the warm up itself, you can gauge, or you can know that this person has some limitations, or this person is very good for today. He can do all I want. And then comes the cool down. After the whole workout, say a maximum, if a personal training is working out, I'll take about 15 minutes. I'm being very precise. It can be 15 to 20 minutes of just warming up. Trust me, it works. It saves a person's life. It saves a person from getting hurt. So 15 to 20 minutes just to warm up. Then the real workout, maybe it can be any form. It can be strength, or it can be a combination of strength and cardio. It can be just one day hit, that's high intensity interval training. It can be anything, but the warm up is very, very crucial. So I can gauge, okay, this day is his day. It's not my day. I may be very dull. I may be very, energetic, but no, it's not about me. It's about the student who's coming to me. So I have to gauge, I have to know that this person is very good for today. He can go to one level up today. He can break uh, last his own personal best. But I'm assessing a new person. So we are talking about assessing a new person. How do I assess a new person? So I do all kind of uh, things I have learned during this more than 2 decades now. I make sure that all the mobility drills, the little I know, I try in a very gentle and smooth way. Then I slowly rack it up. I slowly build it up. I slowly make it a little tough, maybe little more, maybe little more, till I see there is a breaking of sweat and the guy is really warmed up. He's showing that he's good. His interaction, his facial expression is good. He's not fatigued. He's not looking as though he's not ready. So there I go from there. I mean, I take it up and we go for. I believe in training very smart, not hard. I never believe in hard training. Then once the session is over, I make sure how he came to me. What was his heart rate? Suppose his heart rate was, say, for a normal individual, it can be, say, about 90. But elite athletes can take up to, say, about maybe about 60 or less. Uh, let's assume a person comes to me with a heart rate of 90 before the warm up, and my job will finish only when I make him cool down and I bring his heart rate down back to 90. So that is the most crucial two parts of the exercise, or the workout: the warm up and the cool down. In between, we can play up always. So, anything else, Raja?
Which brings me to this topic that's been going around a lot these days, and that's home training.
Yeah.
Now, with the absence of gym equipment at home, what
Yeah.
would you suggest a
I
complete
say,
workout would be?
I say, we are. I've been saying this a lot. I've written a lot of articles on this. That w- why can't we make you know our whole body as a unit to work out? Why we have to rely on, if you have access, it's okay. But now, since this COVID thing is going on, I would say, why can't we need, why can't we use our own body weight? And why can't we build muscle? There are so many contradictions on this, that you need to overload. Yes, I know. They say we need to do progressive kind of overloading. Yes, I agree. Then, but I have my own thoughts. I have my own little system which I have created over the years. I feel if you use your body weight a number of times, and if you overload with very basic small tools, say uh, just a pair of 10 kilos dumbbells, or say 7.5 kilo dumbbells, or say just a barbell and two plates of 10 kilos each or 5 kilos each, any prop, say one kettlebell, can do wonders for you. You can have wonderful body. Just you need to have a nice good place, a place where you don't have you know uh, too much of AC, or it's not be kind of a suffocating place. Just go to your balcony, or if you're living in an apartment, just go on the terrace. If you're living in a house, go on your terrace, or go into the garden and just place your mat over there. Put your tools, whatever you have. You have resistance bands these days available everywhere. You can shop it online, and you have resistor bands, or it is called the rubber tubing. You have different levels, so you check your levels, and you have a lot of online fitness classes going on. So you better do your own research. Okay, you can always see the rating. You always see which is the best thing to go for, and then go for it. Then start loading yourself up with just your own body. Start with your own body. Then afterwards, if you feel very comfortable, by say for example, I'll just say, I'm just a very bright example, because everybody knows the word squat. It's just sitting down on a chair and getting up, right? That's a squat. That is how I explain squat to a person who comes first to me and his leg day. I make sure his first workout is, uh, you know, first high intensity workout should be the leg day, because I feel working on your legs, or say the major muscles of our body, which is known as the core muscles. Okay, so I make sure if you work on your legs, you will have the greatest cardio ever. If you can do squat, now if I say squat, that is sitting down on a chair and getting up. So imagine you're 70 kilos, Raza.
Hmm.
You're 70 kilos, and if you can sit down up to the chair level for about, say, 50 times, and I give you a break of, say, 15 seconds, and ask you to again do 50 times, so you're lifting your own body weight, that is 70 kilos, for how many times by now? 50 times into 2,
100.
100. So 70 into your body weight.
I see.
So the repetitions, and the recovery period is very less. In 10 to 15 seconds, you're lifting your own self, that is 70 kilos, for 100 times. That can be amazing. And if I want to increase the intensity, I will say, okay, Raja, now I add on one more exercise to this one. I will add on a basic lunge and a squat, and there is no rest in between. Then I'll ask you to rest only, say, 15 seconds again. And I say, okay, let's do one more set non-stop. You go squat 50 and lunge 25 each leg and 15 seconds gap. Imagine the intensity increasing. Imagine the heart rate coming up. Imagine if I keep correcting your form, or if I'm doing along with you, and if I'm mirroring you, so you'll have a great workout. You got my point? Is it clear to you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the how wrong I was earlier to think that only specific training. Well,
There is
let
no
me just
specific training as
Yeah.
such, unless and until one is an athlete and one is in particular sport.
Right, I was about to get over
Yeah,
there. That
yeah.
sports specific training.
Yeah,
I was
sports
wrong.
specific training is completely different from training a general population who wants
Right.
to look good, wants to stay fit for their family, for themselves, for their loved ones. But when it comes to competitive training or sports specific training, the whole game changes, the whole plan changes, the whole system changes. We have to have a different mindset for the athlete. We need to know the history of the athlete, his age, his goals, his parental background, his paternal background. We need to know, uh, you know, if he has any family history. Even though in general population also we do the assessments with the family history, but here we have to be very, very specific. If we want our athlete, if he wants to achieve his goals, we have to be very specific that we know all the background about him or her, and so that we can take him towards their goal with a lot of safety by including in the program. You might have heard a lot of terms about rehab, but I come from a school of thought which is about prehab. I make sure that when I train, or when I take up a sports person from any background, it could be a boxer, it can be a cyclist, it can be uh, just a sprinter, but I have to make sure that I know that person very well. I know him very well, what he can, how much exercise he can take, and I should know about his recovery pattern, how he sleeps, how he eats, what his body requires. Some days he can't perform to his 100% max, so it's fine. That day is not his. So I wait for his good day. I mean, I'll see that he recovers very well. He doesn't complain to me the next day. I don't allow him to. I'm sure all my fitness people will do the same, that they don't train the same muscle group every single day. So we do the split training system. We do different type of training patterns. We don't just do cardio one day, and it's very old school though, but my thought process is different. I want the athlete to be excited. I don't plan a workout and go. I see the athlete warm up, that at that point of time I decide, okay, this is the day we need to do max out training. The best, I should take out the best out of him, and he should perform his best that day. So that's my approach to train an athlete.
I see. I mean, I've been dumbfounded by your ability to just look at people and just give them a glance
Yeah, it
and
is.
find
It
the
is. It is
specific
no magic thing.
problem.
To be very honest, it's not a. If you're very well educated about your profession, and if you keep upgrading yourself, if you keep upgrading your knowledge, if you keep upgrading yourself, if you keep on doing uh, certifications, and if you keep on just if not certifications, if you do workshops yearly once at least, and every single day, my fellow fitness trainers, one humble request to you all guys: please don't feel bad. This is our profession. We handle lives. We handle human lives. So we need to be educated. We need to upgrade ourselves. Give yourself some time to rewind, relax, and you can. I know most of the guys in this profession are there because they like it. It's their passion turned into profession. So please give yourself some time to educate yourself every single day. Maybe it can be a 15 minutes of some good read, you know, or 15 minutes of a good fitness show. Just see what's happening in around our industry. If the training patterns are changing, what people are doing to make this world a better place to live in. So look around, and I'm sure if you look around, you'll find good things. Good times will come. They'll always be there. Yep.
It's been very educational talking to you, and
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure, Raza. It's my
and
pleasure.
uh,
If you want to ask anything more, I'll be very grateful to you, because in this today's COVID world, I want to talk about few issues, if you don't mind.
absolutely, please go ahead.
Uh, as you might have noticed, or you have seen on television, or on your smartphone, or you might have seen with your naked eyes, that you might have seen people on the road doing cardio. Some are running, some are brisk walking, some are cycling. Am I right?
Yes. The other day, one of my neighbors was saying that he was off to uh, cycling with his friends the next day, and also
Oh wow!
also to the park.
Oh wow! That's very very. I mean, your this question is will make my day. Thank you very much again. It just happened today. At, I could say yesterday, because it's like 2 a.m. in the night. It's almost 3, I guess. Yeah, it's 3. It's almost 3. So last night at around 8 p.m., while I was coming from my workplace, where I'm training people outside the gym, I saw a cyclist zooming past by my car, and he was having the headphones on and a very uh, peculiar kind of a mask. And he just zoomed past, and I had a look at him, and then there was a traffic signal, so he had to slow down. Then I dropped my window, and I had a look at him. He was really, really gasping for breath. He was. I could see that his torso is not comfortable. His face, when I went little close to him, he was trying to slowly get off the signal and go, even though the signal was on. It's on red, so he was, because the traffic was less. But I could see he was wearing N95 mask, which is meant for healthcare professionals. Here, in this case, the N95 mask, if I talk about it, it is for the healthcare professionals, the people who work in hospitals, the people who are associated with hospitals. He was wearing that, and top of that, when you're cycling on road, you're not supposed to wear headphones. You're not supposed to wear anything like earplugs or anything to hear music, because you're on road. There is a high risk of being getting hit in our country. Especially, we don't have cycling pathways or cycling places. We have just roads, and the whole world knows of our traffic system. So I don't want to go there though. One has to take care of his or her own safety. But here I was very curious that this guy was turning bluish on his face, and he was not breathing comfortable. So I just waved at him, and he could never look at me because his mind was totally distracted. He was he was trying to rush in and go paddling more harder. Then I honked and I lowered my glass and waved my hand. Then I think that hit him a little bit. So he just took one earphone off his uh, head, and he just gave me a gesture like, "What?" I said, "Please stop." With my hand, I waved. I just said, "Let's stop." And I put my indicator on. And when I saw the road is, a little empty, I came down from the car. I wore my mask, and he came to me and he said, "What? Why did you stop me?" I said, "Brother, please don't mind. Should I ask you something?" He said, "What? Tell me. I have to go cycling. I have to ride again." I said, "Yeah, please do, but just give me 1 minute. I'm a fitness professional, and my job is not to see people doing something wrong." He said, "What wrong I am doing?" I said, "Brother, the mask you're wearing is not safe for you." He said, "What?" I said, "Yes, it's not safe for you. Please wear a mask which is, it can be just made of cloth, or a disposable mask, or just don't wear a mask if you're cycling for long distance." Then he said, "Why not this?" Because I said, "Yes, it is for healthcare people. It's for doctors, nurses, the people who are associated." Again, I told him the whole thing. That please, N95 is not the mask you're going to wear. It will stop your oxygen supply. So he was like, "Yeah." I said, "Yes. Can you see how breathless you are right now?" He said, "Yeah, I've been cycling from years." I said, "Yes, brother, I can know it by the way uh, your cadence was, or the way I could perceived it. I mean, your rotation per minute, and since you're on a hybrid bike, that is on-road bike, you're paddling really well, but at the same time, you're not up there where you should be." So he said, "Okay." He said, "Thank you very much," and he rushed out. But I was so curious, I just followed him without letting him know that again I'm being like, like a stalker. I'm sorry. But I was concerned about him. I was very concerned because every time I see someone jogging on the road, I keep doing the same thing. I keep doing the same thing. I keep going to people and say, "Hey, brother, hey, sister, hey, ma'am, hey, sir, please stop. Please don't wear N95 mask. Please have a cloth mask or a disposable mask. Or if you're alone and if you're not having anyone with you and the road is empty, if the park nowadays they're not allowing anyone in parks too, so it's better to work at home if you want. It's better to work out at home. But if you really want, if you're really a outdoor guy, so do it in a safer environment, safer place where there are less people very very early in the morning, or say after your dinner, say wait for half an hour or 40 minutes, then you can do your workout. But please don't take any sort of risk these days, because these are not normal days. But I'm sure we are all in it together, and we'll also uh, get through this together. I want to wish you all a very best of health, happiness, success, wealth, and peace. Love you all. God bless. This is Faiyaz signing off. Thank you.